Good morning and welcome to Good Morning KU Sports. My name is Colton and we have a great show for you today and we can't wait to share. First, Lily will be going over NBA power rankings and sharing who is doing well and who is lacking in the start of the NBA season. Next, we will have Eli and Luke doing Pick 'em with Greenwald for Week 10 of NFL football. After that, Isabel will be covering KU football from the last few weeks and heading into this weekend against Texas Tech. Then, Katie will be back concerning KU volleyball. After KU volleyball, we will have a quick break and then Ryan will be back to host the first Good Morning KU Sports trivia show. After that, Sam will be back with our regular weather report going into this weekend full of sports. Lily, what's it looking like in the NBA?
Thanks, Colton. Now that the NBA season has reached week 3, it's time to see which teams are dominating and which are not as we go through the NBA's official power rankings going off of the rankings posted on November 6th and the standings after this week's latest games. Starting with the top 3 teams, at number 3 are the Boston Celtics. They ultimately started the season 5-0, falling to the Timberwolves 109-114 to end their streak. The Wolves are a team to keep their eye on this season, but that's a topic for another time. The Celtics have the best point differential by a wide margin and have an offensive rating of about 124, ranking number 1 in the league. Their defensive rating is about 106, ranking at number 7 in the league, so they've come out strong in the regular season once again. Jason Tatum is averaging 38 and 3. And assists aren't usually his thing, but averaging 30 will keep him in the conversation for MVP as he has been for the past couple of years. If the Celtics can dominate the East, I see no reason why they can't make it to the finals. However, after their latest loss to the Philadelphia Sixers, the Celtics moved to a record of 5-2. Speaking of the Sixers, at number 2 are the Philadelphia 76ers, with a record of 6-1 coming off of their win against the Boston Celtics. The Sixers have 4 players averaging at least 20 points per game, but the biggest question surrounding this team is if they will leave all of the James Harden drama behind them now that he's been traded to the Clippers. Kelly Oubre Jr. has been excelling and even moved up to the starting lineup for the past few games while their roster gets situated. He's been averaging about 21 points per game, and it'll be important for him to maintain the shooting for this team to keep dominating the way that they are right now. Reigning MVP Joel Embiid is also averaging almost 30, 11, and 6, and this is just the start of the season. At number 1 are the Denver Nuggets, sitting at a record of 8-1, and at number 1 in the West once again. There's been little to no sign of a championship hangover, and their bench is looking much better than it did last year. With the latest injury of Jamal Murray, the rest of the team has stepped up immensely to make up for his role. Their rookie Julian Strawther out of Gonzaga scored 21 points off of the bench against the New Orleans Pelicans, indicating another great draft pick from general manager Calvin Booth. Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic and looking as dominant as ever, if not even more dominant than last year, making him a lead contender in the MVP conversation once again. Michael Porter Jr. seems to have found a shot again after struggling in the 2023 NBA Finals, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's defense must continue to be strong for the team to be as dominant as they are right now. Their only loss is a 21-point loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, but that shouldn't be a game to be worried about as they bounce back strong in their game against the Dallas Mavericks, handing the team their first loss and haven't lost since. And now for the teams that aren't doing as well to start the season. The Memphis Grizzlies started the year 0-6. The suspension of Ja Morant and the injury of Steven Adams was a far greater hit to them than most people saw. Their only win came from a win against the Portland Trail Blazers after hitting a 26-2 run to close the game. I'm not really sure how many games this team is going to win, but hopefully Morant can bring some life back into this team once he's eligible to play again. The Grizzlies finally won their first game against the Portland Trail Blazers, making the record 1-7. Next, we have the Washington Wizards, who have a record of 2-5, winning against the Grizzlies. None of their games have really been competitive, and it's gotten to the point where Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma are making trick shots in the middle of the game. Jordan Poole was showing off in preseason games, but now it sort of seems like he's back to the Jordan Poole we saw last year. They ranked 29th in defense and 20th for offense in the league, so not great. Hopefully they can clean up their act and manage to climb the ranks a little bit. For the last team, we have the Charlotte Hornets, with their record being 2-5. They lost Kelly Oubre to the Sixers, but drafted Brandon Miller second overall in the 2023 draft. Miller's averaging 13 points per game, but it's not enough to make up for Oubre, who averaged 20 points per game in the 2022 season. LaMelo Ball was also struggling offensively for the first few games, but ended up scoring 30 and earning a triple-double with 30, 10, and 13 against the Dallas Mavericks during their 6th game. However, they couldn't secure that win. Their defense is 28th in the league, with the Hornets allowing their opponents to score more than 120 points in their last 4 games. Now, we're only on to week 3, so we can't really make any claims right now, but the standings are looking the way most people expected them to. Rosters are still being moved around and injuries are starting to show up more frequently, so the standings will not look the same every week. With the addition of the in-season tournament, games will look more competitive and will shake up the standings as well. That's all the updates I have for you, and now to Eli and Luke with Pick'em with Greenwald.
Welcome back to Pick'em with Greenwald. I'm Eli Greenwald. With me today is Luke, and we're going to get right into our picks for NFL Week 10. We missed you guys last week, but we're back now. So we're going to start with a AFC North divisional rivalry matchup, the Browns in Baltimore against the Ravens. Luke, who do you think is going to win this ballgame?
Yeah, thanks, Eli. For this one, personally, I have the Ravens. This is going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's 2 of the top defenses in the league, and they have been looking nothing but strong this season. And that combined with the Ravens' offense, I think they are just going to power through that Browns defense just enough, maybe with enough field goals or touchdowns just to pull off that win. But what about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Ravens in this ballgame too. It's 2 great defenses. I expect it to be a low-scoring game. The Ravens are coming off a win last week. They're the top seed in the AFC North right now. But if the Browns win this ballgame, they tie it with them. That's one of the best divisions in football. You got those 2 teams along with the Bengals and the Steelers. It's anybody's division at this point. This is a huge game, not only for rivalry reasons, but because of the standings as well. Like I said, 2 great defenses. Actually, the top 2 defense in the NFL. The Browns are 1, and the Ravens are 2. So, like I said, expect to be a low-scoring game. Deshaun Watson will be playing. He's healthy, which will help the Browns' offense a little bit. But obviously, Ravens haven't beat there with Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, a dynamic playmaker. But this is going to be a game to watch for sure this week. All right, next we travel to Northern California, San Francisco. Jacksonville going to Santa Clara against the Niners. Who you liking this one, Luke?
I'm liking the Niners. I know they've been off a 3-week losing streak, but I think they're going to take it on the road and produce that offense that we've seen in the first few weeks of the NFL this year. We have Brock Purdy, though. I mean, he's thrown 4 interceptions in the last 2 games he played. He needs to work on that. But enough said with that. I think CMC will come out to play a great game as he does all the time, and I think they'll pull off that win.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Niners are coming off a bye, and like you said, having 3 straight losses is not good for them. I think coming off a bye was great. They're able to regroup, reevaluate their situation. Jacksonville's won 5 in a row. Right now, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. But I think the Niners are a better team, one of the best defenses in the NFL. CMC is a dynamic playmaker, along with Deebo Samuel on offense, and they got one of the best coaches in the league in Kyle Shanahan. I think that bye is exactly what the Niners needed, and that's why I think the Niners are going to win this game. I think they're a better team than they've shown the past few weeks. So, yeah, if Purdy cannot turn the ball over more than 1 time, I'd say, I think the Niners have a really good shot at winning this ball game. All right, next we're going to go to Minnesota. We got Saints at the Vikings. Luke, who do you like in this ballgame?
Personally, I'm liking the Saints. The Vikings, although with all the injuries they've had, they've actually been putting together a pretty good offense with Joshua Dobbs being traded over and playing a great game. One thing I had about him is he is new to the team. He won't be 100% yet with all their plays. And we have Alvin Kamara on the Saints, who is back and in full form. Just rushing for a lot of yards every game, even receiving, and I think they're looking very strong, and they'll win it. How about you?
Yeah, I disagree with you on this one. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home against the Saints. The Saints last week did not play well against the Bears. They were able to sneak out a win, 24-17. Bears won last night on Thursday Night Football against Carolina, but they did not look good. And the Vikings last week looked absolutely fantastic. Josh Dobbs played his heart out last week. He threw for 158 yards. He went 20 for 30 in the air and threw for 2 touchdowns, along with running for 1 on the ground. It was his first game in Minnesota, and there seemed to be no rough transition period. He looked great. Meanwhile, like I said, the Saints barely snuck out a win against one of the NFL's worst teams in Chicago. So I really like the Vikings in this one. And people are saying, they're might struggle on offense a little bit more with the injured Justin Jefferson, but Jordan Addison has really stepped up nicely in that number 1 role. And the Saints front 7 is mediocre, so if they're able to contain Addison. I expect Josh Dobbs and Alexander Madison to control the running game for Minnesota, and I like Minnesota in this ballgame. All right, next we go to the Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles. Lions at Chargers. Luke, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, Chargers have been very off and on recently, although they've won their last 2 games. Justin Herbert, been a bit shaky. Their rushing game has been pretty good. Receiving game, even with the weapons they have, hasn't been completely there. And Lions are coming off a bye week here, and they have just been looking like an extremely strong offense behind Dan Campbell, who's just been amazing so far this year. And I think they're going to take it to the Chargers, and it's going to be a high-scoring game, but the Lions will come out on top.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Lions in this ballgame too, and I do agree that it's going to be a high-scoring ballgame. However, the Lions have one of the best defenses in the NFL, so I think that the Chargers are going to have a harder time, even though they have a solid offense just like the Lions. I think they're going to have a harder time against that Lions D because it's so powerful. Meanwhile, the Chargers D is one of the worst in the NFL. And I think the Lions are going to control the running game all game on both sides of the ball, specifically with Jahmyr Gibbs, who 2 weeks ago in the Lions' last game ran for 152 yards and a touchdown, best game of his career. Rookie out of Alabama is playing very well right now. I really, really like what we're seeing out of Jahmyr Gibbs. And, we just talked about the Vikings, and the Lions and the Vikings, that's a race for the NFC North right there, for sure. So if the Lions can win this game, I think that's absolutely huge for them. So I like Detroit as well. All right, thank you for watching Pickin' with Greenwald, and after a short break, we'll be back with Isabel, who is covering all things KU football.
Missed the bus again?
Yeah.
You should download My Bus Lawrence. You can see when buses are arriving here, and you can also see where the buses are in Lawrence.
Wow. Okay.
Download the My Bus Lawrence app today.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Isabel, and we have a lot to talk about today regarding KU football. The season is closing in, and the Jayhawks need to win out the rest of it to appear in the Big 12 title game. The last 15 years have not been kind to the Jayhawks, as 2008 was their last winning season. That is, of course, until now. Kansas football is currently experiencing a winning season as they only have 2 losses going into Saturday. The sad news is those 2 losses are against conference members, putting the Jayhawks lower in the Big 12 title game running. Not only that, but the remaining 3 games are also conference members: Texas Tech, K-State, and Cincinnati. Winning out the season is the most important thing, and probably the only thing on Lance Leipold's mind. Leipold has changed the KU football program in 3 short years. This is not the same team as it was in 2021. So why not top off the first winning season in 15 years with an appearance in the Big 12 title game? This program amazes me in what they've been able to accomplish in the past 3 years. Although 2021 wasn't as flashy as the past 2 seasons, Leipold built up the foundation that he needs to transform the program. Take the Gateway Project, for example. Over $300 million is going into the booth and fan experience. If you'd have told anyone following Kansas football the past 15 years that in 2023 they'd be getting a new multi-million-dollar stadium on top of a winning season, they probably would have laughed in your face. The win against Oklahoma was exactly what the Jayhawks needed. It put fire underneath them. Becoming Oklahoma's first loss of the season proved to the rest of the country that Kansas football isn't a fluke and not what it used to be. Every week, it seems like Kansas football is breaking records. They've moved so far up in the college football scale in a short time that it doesn't feel real. Now the Texas Tech Raiders are coming into Lawrence with an 11-1 in the series, and after a win against TCU, they're going to come to play. A key player to look out for is Texas Tech running back Taj Brooks, who already hit 1,000 yards this season with 5.4 yards per rush. Brooks alone has seen the end zone 7 times this season, so Kansas defense will need to keep an extra eye on the run game. If Texas Tech gets hot on the ground, it could be hard to stop them. Don't get me wrong, Devin Neal has just as strong as a game with an average of 6.1 yards per rush. We also have Jason Bean to our advantage, since he can throw and has some wheels too. No matter what, there's a lot on the line, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. The good news is the next 2 games are at home at the booth, and the Jayhawks have a very clear home field advantage. The Jayhawks have not lost at home this season, and I'm sure they plan to keep it that way. I hope everyone is ready to pack the booth tomorrow, because there is no better time for Kansas athletics than right now.
and no better supporter than KU students. That's your update on the standings of KU football. Now, let's jump to Katie, who has information about KU volleyball and their rise in the rankings for this volleyball season.
Thanks, Isabel. All KU sports have been seeing tremendous success in their seasons, and KU volleyball is no exception. KU has an important game tonight on the road at Iowa State and then tomorrow. After football, make sure to lock in to KU's game at 4 p.m. The Jayhawks are 18-4 and are in second place in the competitive Big 12. The Jayhawks earned a massive sweep over rivals K-State this past weekend, with a thrilling 5-set victory in Game 1 and then a clean sweep in Game 2. Kansas has won 6 straight matchups versus K-State, dating back to 2021, and has definitely dominated the in-state rivalry. All I have to say is rock chalk. Looking at the rest of the season, the Jayhawks are ranked 14th nationally and are in a strong position to host a regional and the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament if they can stay ranked in the top 16. The Jayhawks have made the tournament the past 2 seasons, and Ray Bouchard's squad is rolling at the right time. With 6 games left on the schedule, if Kansas can win 4 or 5, then the Jayhawks are in a great spot heading into the tournament. Kansas is 11-1 this season at home, so getting that home court advantage in the postseason would be massive. Leading the way for the Jayhawks this season has been junior outside hitter Aya El Nadi. The junior from Cairo, Egypt has been on an absolute tear recently, leading the team in kills with 246. Also showing out for the Jayhawks has been setter Cameron Turner. Turner ranks 2nd in the Big 12 in assists per set, and the junior from Topeka continues to dominate for her hometown team. While Nadi and Turner have played phenomenally, the Jayhawks are truly a well-balanced and have a deep roster. Kansas leads the Big 12 in team assists, digs, and kills, which sets the team up well for the NCAA tournament. KU volleyball is in a great spot with the selection show coming up in less than 3 weeks on November 27th, so make sure to stay tuned to see the Jayhawks postseason matchups and potential run to a Final Four. After a short break, Ryan will be back to host Good Morning KU Sports' first ever trivia game.
Welcome to Good Morning KU Sports' first ever trivia game show. I have contestants Colton and Owen here to answer some of the best college football trivia questions. Because the football season is in full swing and athletes are bustling to try to win games, we will see if you guys know your stuff. We'll have to do 2 rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to answer the first question.
Oh, we are going back. Okay. All right, best of 3. Oh. All right.
You can go first.
Okay, all right, sure, we'll just do one. All right, I'm going first. All right, what's the first question?
All right, awesome, Owen. You're going to answer the first question. Your first question is, which team has the record for the longest winning streak in the history of college football? Is it A, the Georgia Bulldogs, B, the Clemson Tigers, C, the Texas Longhorns, or D, the Oklahoma Sooners?
Ooh, okay, this is a tough one. All really good blue blood programs. I'm going to have to go with Georgia. That's my final guess. Georgia, lock it in.
You're incorrect. The answer is D, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Okay.
The Sooners hold the record for most consecutive wins with 47 wins straight. These happened from 1953 to 1957. Colton, you're next.
All right.
What is the name of the award given annually to the best college quarterback? Is it A, the Heisman Trophy, B, the Davy O'Brien Award, C, the Lombardi Award, or D, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award?
The Heisman Award?
You are incorrect. The answer is
Best
B.
quarterback.
The Davy O'Brien Award is the nation's oldest and most prestigious quarterback award. This award was named after Davy O'Brien, who was a standout quarterback at TCU. And now let's go back to Owen.
All right. Let's see if we can get our first points on the board here.
Which college football coach has won 7 national championships and is considered the greatest college football coach of all time? A, Dabo Swinney, B, Tom Osborne, C, Nick Saban, or D, Urban Meyer?
Well, it's certainly not Urban Meyer. I'm going to say that much. We're judging by his actions off the field. So we're going to go, it's going to be Nick Saban. He's easily greatest college football coach of all time, in my opinion. That's final guess. Lock it in. Nick Saban.
Yeah, you are correct. The answer is Nick Saban. Head coach at Alabama since 2007, has won 7 SEC championships and 7 national championships, with the most recent coming for the Tide in 2020. Colton, it's your turn. Since 2000, which 2 schools have had 31 players selected in the first round of the NFL draft? Is it A, Michigan, Oklahoma, B, Notre Dame, Florida State, C, Georgia and Alabama, or D, Ohio State and Alabama?
I'm going to go Ohio State and Alabama.
You are correct. The answer is D.
go.
Some notable number 1 picks from Ohio State are Ezekiel Elliott, who went to the Dallas Cowboys, and Nick Bosa, who went to the 49ers. Alabama has had some notable picks as well, including Bryce Young, who went to the Panthers, and Tua Tagovailoa, who went to the Miami Dolphins. Owen, back to you.
All right.
Which university is known as Quarterback U due to their history of producing great quarterbacks? Is it A, USC, B, Ohio State, C, Nebraska, or D, Notre Dame?
That's a hard one. Yeah, so if I think about this, so I think it's going to be USC, because USC, they have, Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, of course, most recently Caleb Williams. They've had a great history. Yeah, Sam Darnold as well. So USC's had a pretty great history of producing some good college quarterbacks. So that's going to be my final guess, USC.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct, Owen.
Yeah.
You got it exactly right. Your explanation was perfect. Not too much for else for you to say. USC is Quarterback U as of right now. All right, Colton,
Kansas is gonna be next.
here we go. Which college football program has the most wins all time? Is it A, Texas, B, Alabama, C, Michigan, or D, Notre Dame?
I'm going to go D, Notre Dame.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Oh.
The answer is C. Michigan, as a program, owns the most wins all time, currently sitting at 998 wins.
Oh, they're going to hit 1,000 this
All
year.
right,
Wow.
before we go back to Owen, quick tally.
Cheaters, though.
It's 2-1 Owen, correct? You have 2 points?
I believe so, yes.
Got it. All right, we're getting down the home stretch.
All right.
All right, here we go. Owen, back to you. Which college football program has claimed the most national championships? Is it A, Georgia, B, Ohio State, C, USC, or D, Alabama?
This is a tough one. I don't know, because, if you think about national championships, a lot of schools have claimed national championships. Of course, going back to even the late 1800s. So, oh my gosh, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Alabama.
You are correct.
Okay.
Alabama has claimed the most national championships with a whopping 18. How many of those are legit? I do not know. All right, Colton, back to you.
Okay.
Who is the only player in college football history to win the Heisman Trophy multiple times? Is it A, Archie Griffin, B, Tim Tebow, C, Tom Brady, or D, Joe Burrow?
Archie Griffin.
You are correct. Archie Griffin, former Ohio State running back, is the only player in college football history to win 2 Heisman trophies in their career, with them being in 1974 and 1975. All right, so it's 3-2 Owen with 2 more to go. And these last 2 are going to be KU themed because it's KU. So
Okay.
gotta go KU
All right, so we're
themed.
going to
Here we
have a
go.
winner.
Owen, where did Lance Leipold coach before coming to KU? A, Toledo, B, Oregon State, C, Western Kentucky, or D, Buffalo?
I know for a fact this is Buffalo, and if I can get a bonus point, I know before that he coached at Wisconsin Whitewater. So
You are correct. Unfortunately, we did not do any bonus points, but you are correct. Lance Leipold, Buffalo coach from 2015 and 2020, with an overall record of 37 and 33, winning 2 MAC East Division championships, 3 bowl bids, and 2 bowl wins.
gotta love Mac.
And to cap it off, Colton, who did KU beat in the Orange Bowl of the 2007 season? Is it A, Oregon? Is it B, Virginia Tech? Is it C, Boise State? Or is it D, Michigan State?
I sound like a fake KU fan because I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's Virginia Tech.
You are correct.
Oh, look at that.
KU defeated Virginia Tech 24-21 in the 2008 Orange Bowl, capping off an 11-1 season, widely considered the greatest season in KU football history to this point. But with how the future of this program is, I would not be surprised to see KU thrive on the biggest stage of college football once again in the near future. Thanks for playing. Owen is our winner for today. After a short break, we'll be back with Sam in this week's weather.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
All right, welcome back to weather. And right now, looking at the satellite imagery, you can see that there is a cold front right now draped from the Atlantic coast down into the Gulf that is bringing clouds and rainfall to the southeast United States. Whereas here back in Lawrence, once again, have clear skies again for a beautiful day today. As you can see outside, the clear skies looking over the booth. And this will continue throughout the day, as right now we're sitting at a nice 48 degrees. We're sunny with a light northeasterly wind, and this is the beginning of a warming trend that's going to continue for the next about 6 to 7 days. One of the hour by hour forecast here. At 12 o'clock, it'll be about 52, and top out at a high of around 57 this afternoon before dropping down into a pretty chilly evening down in the 30s. For Veterans Day tomorrow, we'll get close to 60 degrees, might not reach it, but Sunday for sure we'll definitely get above 60, as we might even approach 70 in some localities. Now tonight, the men's basketball team has their second game of the season. Tonight it is against Manhattan College, and pregame it'll be nice in the 50s, but after the game you're definitely going to want your jacket afterwards. And the football team takes on Texas Tech tomorrow. It'll be mostly cloudy in the morning for the 11 a.m. kickoff. Then we'll get up close to 60 by the fourth quarter. Should be great football weather for this one, so it should be a great time. And on Tuesday, the men's basketball team has their toughest test of the season so far as they take on number 16 Kentucky in the Champions Classic. This is a late 8:30 p.m. tip-off in Chicago, but the weather temperatures will be hovering right around 50 degrees for most of that evening. And moving on to the big board of sports forecasts here, just no concerns whatsoever for really any home or away game in the next week, whether it be women's tennis in Waco or women's basketball at Penn State on Monday. Should be great weather, no concerns, great time to go out and support your Jayhawks. Now, moving on to the 7-day forecast here. Again, today we'll get close to 57 before getting up into the 70s for most of next week. But I will say, next weekend, Friday and Saturday especially, is when our next chance of rain moves into the Lawrence area. And next week I'll tell you how that could impact the KU State football game, so be sure to tune in for that one. Over to you, Colton.
Thank you, Sam. And thank you for watching our show today, and we'll have a show next Friday, once again at 10 a.m., and thank you again.